Hey everybody. Hey guys. I apologize for coming on so late, but I was resting and then I said, I need to get in here so I can give you guys my reaction to what happened today, what I witnessed, first-hand information of what went on and how just basically giving you guys some 411 of what I observed and things like that during the hearing. I'm gonna play some of the hearing and I'm gonna commentate on it and give you guys some 411. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it for you guys. Let me put my banner up. Put my branding up. There we go. All right, here we go. I think I'm gonna play the full one first. Yeah, I'm gonna play the full one first and then come back to you guys with that. Then I'm gonna come back with the other one. Is it working? I gotta close it out, bring it back, sorry. Gotta bring it back and put it back up. Just 1 second. All right, here we go.
Good morning, Your Honor. There you go. Appreciate it. No problem. Yeah, you too, right? 2 seconds. Just one of them. This is one. Thank you.
Some of the one of the things I wanted to discuss with you guys is well, let me just go ahead and play it and then we'll talk about it. Hold on.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome. Hey, put my hands up. Your right hand.
Oh, good.
Please see you.
I just need to. So I'm just gonna have it that way.
Hold on, I'm trying to bypass that part.
Before we renew motions for bond. So, Mr. Steele, do you want to go ahead and begin, sir?
Yes.
Since I know you need to be someplace else.
Of course.
Okay. All right, go right ahead then, sir.
Good morning, Your Honor, Madam Prosecutors,
Mr. Prosecutor, all the lawyers here on behalf of the other people, on behalf of Mr. Jeffrey Williams, Mr. Adams and I would like the court to reconsider its denial on 2 previous occasions of bail. We filed this motion on April 24th, 2023, and we alleged that Mr. Williams.
Okay, now here's the thing. This motion was filed, April, May, June, July, almost 3 months ago. 3 months ago, this motion was filed for the bond, and it's being heard almost 3 months after. That in itself is like wrong. For a motion that you already know that you're going to deny, to hang on that long and not be heard, it's really outrageous. It's pretty sad. Yeah, I'm okay.
In custody since May 9, 2022. It's the date of his arrest. As the court previously heard, and if you need me to go over it, I will, but I'm assuming that this honorable court remembers the previous bond hearings and all the witnesses and exhibits that we placed before the court.
I do, sir.
I assumed you did. Mr. Williams, as you know, you remember, did not flee when law enforcement officers came to his home on May 9th, 2022. He came out of his house. He called me, actually, and then came out of his house and was not in any way anything but compliant. It's now been more than 14 months so far. As the court may know and remember, the only...
I must agree with you, Toria, on that. His mind was already made up. What my issue is that the treatment that he gives to the defense attorneys compared to the treatment he gives to the state, it's way obvious. It's so blatant that I thought a judge, even though I know most judges come from the prosecution side, but I thought a judge is supposed to be neutral, unbiased, just try to stay in the middle of the road, not pushing like blatant favoritism. And that's the problem I have, because he seems like he gets really upset with the defense side. He's very condescending and tries to belittle them. And that's what I've been seeing. I'm just giving you guys my personal opinion on this. I'm just giving my personal opinion because I'm observing this. And there's a lot of tactic that's been done. In fact, one of the reporters who was in the courtroom before in the past, they stopped them from coming in. You already know they keep me out anyway. But the other reporter who's been in the courtroom today, they refuse to let him in. And it's just like certain things that's being done. It's like they don't want the media in there. I know for a fact they do not want the media in there. And the tactic that's going on in the courtroom is weird. It's really, really weird. And it's not that I'm disappointed in the decision. It's more of how blatant it is. That's my issue with it. It's like I can't really explain it. It's just so like weird. It's like, let me just go ahead and play this. It's weird, really weird.
Nutritional foods consumed by Mr. Williams since May 9, 2022 include carrots, rice, lettuce, beans, and hot dogs. He mostly consumes products which have absolutely no nutritional benefits, which are M&Ms, chips, other processed or artificial bagged chemical substances. The lights, as the court may remember, in the small...
Yeah, look at the difference between the judge that's doing Melly's case. You see how he's very even-tempered. He seems very fair. He's not one-sided. You know, he rules against the defendant. He rules against the state. He's more balanced, where Judge Glanville is more, seems like he's more towards the side of the state, because everything, because even when he make a decision about something, about not going and do something, he allows like Miss Love to continue, you know, and it's like something's just not fitting right with me, and I'm just giving my opinion, you know. It's I'm just giving my opinion. I'm you know, I'm exercising my First Amendment, and also as a press member, I have to tell you guys what I see exactly. It's not balanced. It's not balanced. His demeanor, his approach, he's kind of more like antagonistic with the defense side, and it's noticeable. It's very noticeable. And today's hearing, it was like, what in the world? Because she even, okay, let me just go ahead and play this. Hold on.
It's solitary cell that Mr. Williams is housed in an off-site county. The lights are always on. They are brighter than the lights in this courtroom. So sleeping with bright lights in his face all the time, if he can get to sleep, and is a form.
Bright lights in his face all the time. That's a form of torture, guys. That's a form of torture. I don't care what you. He's still considered innocent until proven guilty. For you to put the bright lights in the person's face while they're trying to sleep, that's torture. That's just like waterboarding type of thing. But in America, they're allowing this.
Of torture, which is not compatible with necessary restoration, sleep, restorative sleep required for Mr. Williams, who is a person on trial and needs to assist his counsel. Your Honor, this lifestyle for the past 14 plus months has caused physical harm to Mr. Williams. As the court recalls, he was taken to the hospital. If the court does not know, Mr. Williams gave me permission, it is for his kidneys. Mr. Williams was raised in total poverty. He is used to not seeking medical help because he could not afford same when he was injured or hurt. But he comes in this courtroom every day, writhing from pain from his kidneys. The kidneys removes the waste and extra water from the blood, evacuates through the body, through urine to maintain balances of the body's substantive fluids, to keep proper balance and levels of potassium, calcium, and sodium. The diet consumed by Mr. Williams endangers his health. Pretrial incarceration, Your Honor, is not supposed to damage a person's mind, spirit, or body. It is not for punishment. And this physical incarceration for such a long period of time, and the trial is estimated to last 6 to 9 months, and that's a considerable amount of time. The court has always said, I will put you on trial right away. I'm very aware that I denied bond to your client, and we appreciate that. We filed demand for speedy trial statutorily and constitutionally.
And speedy trial, has this trial been a speedy trial, y'all? Tell me, what trial have you ever witnessed or known that the jury selection, it's in the 7th month? In its 7th month, and it's supposed to be a speedy trial? Trial has not even really started. And then we got a couple of more weeks down the road on this. Okay, I'm going to give you an example, right? They have 750 individuals that they're going to void whatever how you say, voir dire. They have 751 individuals that they have to individually interview for their ability to be a juror, right? They're supposed to do 12 per section, like 12 in the morning and 12 in the afternoon. There have been 2 days of this picking, right? The first day, the first juror stayed on there for about almost 2 hours, to almost 3 hours. And then they did another juror. They did a total of 4 jurors that day. 4 jurors. Yesterday, there was, Thursday, there was another 4 jurors. They're supposed to do 24 a day, but they're only doing 4 a day so far. So you can imagine how much longer this process is going to take. I don't believe that the trials are going to really start until about October, November. And then when the holiday comes, they're going to take time off. So for it to be there's no way this could be considered a speedy trial. There's no way, y'all. I'm just giving you guys, just common sense type of stuff. This man's been in jail since last year, May. There's no incidents that he has done to cause him to be where he's not able to get bond, right? He hasn't done anything to violate any of the rules or anything in the jail, right? But meanwhile, they're stopping him from he has kidney issues right now. Kidney issues. You have lights on it. He can't sleep at night. This is torture. How do the law define a speedy trial? That's a very good question. Okay, let me see what it says here. What is a speedy trial? Okay. What is a speedy trial? The right to a speedy trial means that an accused person has the right to be tried in a reasonable amount of time. A reasonable amount of time. That's what it says. Reasonable amount of time. It says in a criminal law, the right to a speedy trial is a human right under which it is asserted that a government prosecutor may not delay the trial of a criminal. So the trial has started, but it really has not started because there is still a delay as far as jury picking and things like that. But it's a right, Gucci. It shouldn't matter whether or not it's a paid lawyer or not. All right, let me go ahead and play this. It's vague, yeah, but it's supposed to be. Now, come on. There's no way we can say that this is a speedy trial. This is not a speedy trial. This is not normal. This is not a speedy trial. This is not a speedy trial. I don't care what nobody say. This is not a speedy trial. But Gucci, this is not a speedy trial. You've gone almost a whole year and no jury has been seated. Almost a whole year. The trial started in January, right? And we're in almost August. This is not a speedy trial, and there's no opening argument has started. There's no opening argument, guys. None. None. This is every time an attorney walked by, not attorney, but a judge walked by the room that I'm in, they're like, "Did the trial start yet?" I was like, "They're still picking jurors." They're like, "What?" This is not normal. We have seen so many trials come and go since YSL has started. We've watched the whole Murdoch trials. We watched even this one that just ended. We watched that one. We watched a lot of trials so far.
But it is still a long time. As the court may notice, takes note of Mr. Williams, he has gained tremendous weight.
Yeah, he gained weight, yeah.
If he's weighed now, compared to the time he weighed on May 9th, you will see how much weight he has gained. He does not fit into his clothing anymore. He has all new clothing, and this is a problem caused by the kidneys and the lack of nutrition and exercise. Your Honor, the support for the community is still here with Mr. Williams. It remains here, as I previously showed this honorable court, to a packed courtroom.
Speaking of courtroom, man, the courtroom was packed upstairs. It was so many people. He has a lot of support, y'all. A lot of support. That courtroom was packed. His family took up one side alone. That courtroom was packed. They had individuals fly from different places just to be there. It was packed. You need to check a kidney specialist? Yeah, he does.
There are people who have not wavered at all. His family is all from this area. They love him and devoted to him. I speak with them weekly, if not more. His friends have stayed with him. Co-workers of Mr. Williams in the music industry. One is a gentleman who is on your screen in courtroom 8H, as in happy. His name is Jeff, which is Geoff, Ogunlesi, Ogunlesi. He has flown across our country to be here today when he found out that this honorable court set the hearings on Tuesday. He is in, if you need him, he is in courtroom 8H, and he will speak to the court if needed. There are professionals of the highest, officers of publicly traded company, the record label, that are on your Zoom. Mr. Kevin Liles, Liles, and he authorized me to tell you that he again embraced in total his previous sworn live testimony before this honorable court, and he stands by it with all of his power and might, and is willing to answer any of your questions that you would have of the prosecution for bond for Mr. Williams. Within this past month, Your Honor, Mr. Williams released a record. It was
Now, I'm going to object to this proffer opening, or this portion of it as irrelevant to a bond hearing.
I could answer that if I need to. It goes to his employment and his steadiness, employment in the industry, and in this trial at this time. He has still maintained total employment, and he's still active.
Okay, all right, I'll allow it.
He is the number, that record, Your Honor, became the #1 rap record in,
Objection, Your Honor, if I may finish my objection to as to.
What's the basis? Relevance? I'm gonna overrule the objection
Thank you.
this time. All right,
is the #1 rap record.
let's move on, Mr. Steele. I understand it. You've convinced me that he's
Okay, listen to this. He overruled the objection, right? But then when Mr. Steele continued to talk about it, he said, so he really didn't overrule it. He really sustained it because he's cutting them off from telling everything they need to tell. Did that make sense to you guys? He stopped them. she overruled. He overruled her objection. But then when Mr. Steele started to tell it, the detail of it, he stops him. Y'all, don't that seem like different?
Employable, so.
Well, I think the court should know it's also number 2 record in any field. And I think that that's important for the court to realize there's no risk of violating condition of bond. This gentleman is an accomplished superstar in music. And I think that should weigh heavily that he would not jeopardize that by violating any condition of bond. Your Honor, America's justice system is built on the presumption that bail should be granted if there are any conditions that can be factored to ensure that the community is safe, the person does not pose a danger to the community, witnesses will not be intimidated, there will be no obstruction of justice, the person will not, in this case Mr. Williams, will not commit a felony or any crime, it says felony, but any crime allowed on bond.
Dom, the language in the chat, stop it, Dom. Do not put those type of language in the chat, sir.
And that Mr. Williams will appear in court. Because if we do it the other way and maintain people and house people and warehouse them as Mr. Williams has been, then the presumption of innocence, which is our entire standard in Georgia, is gone because he's being presumed to be guilty. Your Honor, Georgia, unlike some states, for purposes of pretrial bond, the presumption of innocence remains with Mr. Williams accused of any offense, even a capital offense, which Mr. Williams is not charged with a capital offense, from arrest and even during trial. It's Vanderford, V-A-N-D-E-R-F-O-R-D versus Brand, B-R-A-N-D. It's 126 Georgia, 67 and 70, 1906. That means, Your Honor, that prior to trial, this honorable court must view Mr. Williams to be innocent.
I do. Look, I understand that you're trying to meet your burden in the sense of for the 4 factors under law. So I'm gonna assume that I take into account the prior testimony that you've given in this particular case. Is there anything that you want other than the updated issues as to his record release recently? And employability. Is there anything else you want to augment that with?
Yes.
And then I'll let the state respond and present anything they may have to the contrary.
Yes.
Okay.
I have seen, and I've been here for every bond hearing except one, Mr. Miles Farley. I was not present for that. I've seen this honorable court deny every person's bond who's in this indictment. But then 7 months later, approximately, I saw the state who called all these people that they are a danger to community. They cannot fashion this honorable court cannot fashion any conditions of bond that would permit bond to be granted. And then 7 months later, the prosecution for 8 co-indictees offered, and this court accepted, negotiated pleas of time served. I can't wrap that around my mind.
What does that have to do with your case and your bond? I mean, each individual defendant is on his or her, in this case, their own merit. So why does that?
Now, you heard what he said. Each and every individual defendant is on their own merit, right? But when love comes up there to tell something that somebody else did, they put it on Mr. Jeffrey, right? Why is it in the same energies given in with Steele? Why is it the same energy? Because he seemed like he didn't really want to hear it. He's not listening to Steele at all. And it's like he already made his decision way before anything happened. And so it was just a waste of time just to even be there. That's what I see it as. Why even have a bond hearing? Your mind was already made up.
anything to do with you.
Because I don't believe that the
Your
proffers
client, I
you're
should
getting,
say.
I don't, it's fine to say me, but I don't believe that the proffers you're getting from the state are accurate. They have been proven to be inaccurate. I heard Mr.
Unfortunately, that's the way the law goes at this point in time, and our legislature hasn't addressed that. I mean, you've asked me to take a look at that. It's a different standard, pre-trial as opposed to in trial. So, I mean, I understand that. I know you'll probably review that at some point in time, but at this point, I'm stuck with what I'm stuck with in terms of the legal posture of what the Constitution and the case law allows me to do.
There is no case that says that there's a difference between pre-trial and in trial. That is not accurate.
In terms of the standard for motions and requirement for witnesses and live witnesses, should there be?
I misunderstood. I thought you were talking about bond law.
No.
Okay,
No, sir.
But you did grant bond. I was not present. But you did grant bond for Mr. Miles Farley, and there has to be a way that
On the individual circumstances of Mr. Farley, Mr. Williams I have to judge it on his particular circumstances.
I'm judging on Mr. Williams. I think Mr. Williams is more than bond eligible. Your Honor, we still have the same officers willing to supervise and surround a home that will have no electronics and no visitors. There will be no computer, no cell phone, and law enforcement officers outside of the house. We will pay for transportation to and from the courthouse. Otherwise, with an ankle monitor on his person, he does not leave that home. Mr. Adams and I and our other co-workers would request to meet with Mr. Williams inside that home on weekends and at nights. But other than us, nobody comes in. We can leave our electronics outside and bring paper copies because
Look at his demeanor, y'all. Look at his demeanor. He got the cup of coffee in his hand and he's looking at inside the cup of coffee. He's not paying attention to Mr. Steele. To me, that's a disrespect. I just giving y'all my opinion. That's a disrespect. No, you doing too much. I told you, do not cuss in this chat. I'm telling you, Don, don't play with me today.
that's what I do at the outside jail anyway with Mr. Williams. Now, sometimes they do let me come in with my iPad to share discovery with Mr. Williams. I have to ask special permission, and I can do that through the court. But Your Honor, that is a factor that should be considered by the Honorable Court, that Mr. Williams can live at a location that can be vetted by the Honorable Court and law enforcement and the district attorney's office. I've gone further, not only with local police officers. If you don't like local police officers, I'm not saying anything wrong, but for whatever reason, that is not sufficient. There is a former Secret Service agent. There is a former U.S. Marshal that would take the responsibility of securing and transporting Mr. Williams in a home by himself and following every condition of bond, which we would ask for at this point, no visitors except legal, and not to leave the house except if you had to go to a hospital and on an ankle monitor. Your Honor, liberty is the norm in our community, and this custodial detention prior to trial, when there are conditions that can be fashioned, is against our law. I will answer any of your questions. Mr. Ogilessi will answer your questions, but he is Mr. Williams' manager. He will answer any questions, but he is behind Mr. Williams 100%, and Mr. Kevin Lyles is with the record label, and he also is with Mr. Williams. And as I said, I incorporate his prior testimony. Your Honor, I want to answer any of your questions. I want to thank you always, but this is a big case with a lot of discovery. We got discovery yesterday evening. I go through with Mr. Williams. I'm with him every day. I'm in court with him. I'm on a Zoom call with him, privileged Zoom call at the jail, or I'm with him at the jail. It is a lot better for us if he can stay awake, if he can participate and assist. And there are conditions that we have because he has the resources. That doesn't mean a resource to flee, like you heard he can rent a plane. He's not doing that, Your Honor. He has too much to lose and he's too recognizable. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Steele. All right, Ms. Lauer, Ms. Hilton, ladies.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, to begin with, I noticed that Mr. Steele referenced this status, the state that we're in as pretrial. I noticed that and noted it because I wanted to make certain that the record is clear that we are currently in trial. We are not at a pretrial.
It doesn't seem like a trial to me. It seems like pre-trial because you still haven't done anything. It doesn't seem like a trial to me. I don't blame him. I would have said pre-trial too because it looked like pre-trial situation here. Motions has not been worked on. Jurors have not been seated. Seemed like pre-trial to me.
Status or state. Mr. Steele referenced the fact that he has demanded a constitutional and a statutory speedy trial. And Mr. Steele also referenced the fact that the court promised or guaranteed that his client would receive one. And in fact, the court has upheld that promise and we are in trial. The statutes in the case law that reference bail and bond also use pretrial release interchangeably with bail and bond. And so I just wanted to point out that we are currently in trial. Also, Your Honor, since the time that...
So why did she waste time just talking about that?
This court first found that the defendant poses a risk of committing additional felonies and poses a flight risk. There has been no change in circumstances beyond what Mr. Steele has described as the defendant's discomfort.
You heard that, discomfort, not medical needs, but discomfort. Like it's a discomfort for him.
His dissatisfaction with the food that he is.
Dissatisfaction with food, y'all. That's what she said is the reason why he wants a bond, because he's not comfortable and he's dissatisfied with the food.
Is given his choice to only eat certain foods that are provided. And that's it. Using the rationale that Mr. Steele employs, it's tantamount to being unconstitutional to confine anyone, given the description that he has made of his client's circumstances and his assertion that every person should have the right to be free from those type of circumstances. I want the court to take note of the fact that the legislature, in enacting the statute for which Mr. Williams is charged, said that they wanted to make certain that the community is free of intimidation and threats caused by criminal street gangs, understanding that the state has the burden of proving all of the charges alleged in the indictment at trial. We are at a position, however, where we can point to circumstances that reflect that the defendant poses a significant risk of committing additional felonies. These acts that the defendant has committed go very far back. They include...
It's supposed to be alleged acts. You have not proven that he has committed these acts. These are just allegations. Allegations, not that he committed them. These are allegations, supposed to say alleged.
Of intimidation during the time that his brother, Your Honor, I am proffering as an officer of the court.
You let her finish, please, Mr. Steele.
I apologize.
Okay, question. She was able to object him while he was talking, but when he objected, he says, "Let her talk, Mr. Steele." There's a difference, y'all. Look at it. Look at this.
What's the basis?
it goes against the law for presumption of innocence. This is the charges in the indictment which the court has to presume innocent.
That's right.
Improper argument.
I believe it's just her proffer. I understand the legal requirement, and your client is presumed innocent. But I think Ms. Love is proffering how Mr. Williams is or continues to be a danger to the community.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Using the irrelevant information, it's the indictment. That's what Ms. Love is referring to.
It is not.
I don't think she's referring to the indictment. I think she's referring to acts that she claims will support the issues of bond.
You see
Bond
how
is
he's
different
supporting
from
her?
Trial on the merits.
I understand that. I listened intently, and this is the indictment, and that's what Ms. Love just stated.
It's the charging document, but I understand, Mr. Steele, that it's different. The state has the burden. Bond is different than proof at trial. I understand that. Do you have any further objections, sir?
Wow.
401 and 402 relevant.
Wow.
I'm going to overrule the objection. Go ahead, madam.
Wow.
Thank you, Judge.
Wow.
The defendant, as far back as the time when his brother, Mr. Greer, who was before the court.
Okay.
earlier this
Remember when Steele started to talk about Farley getting a bond, right? They said that on its own merit is irrelevant, right? Now she's bringing up his brother, but he's okay with her bringing up the brother. You see this? Double standard, y'all. It's not.
Initially set to be on trial was one of the witnesses, and in fact, a person very close to the defendant, called the police and indicated that the defendant had messaged her, snitch hoes get murked, them and their kids.
Look, that was done in 2010. Nothing was done since he's been arrested. 2010 is what? 23 years ago, text message.
Is this Mr. Williams you're referring to?
It is.
No. I did not get that.
Snitch hoes get what?
Murked, M-U-R-K-E-D.
Get murked and what else?
Murked, them and their kids.
Okay, I got it.
Your Honor, in 2015, Mr. Steele may present the objection that this is part of the indictment, but I can play the actual video where the defendant proclaims, so people lied to their mama, lied to their sister, lied to their children, and then want to get in court and tell the God's honest truth. You need to be killed, bro. That's from me and YSL. Those were his words. Judge, the intimidation factor and the risk of committing additional felonies that the defendant presents is not small. I know that you have heard proffers from prior prosecutors and you've heard evidence in previous bail hearings regarding witnesses' representations as it relates to this defendant. I can state, having experienced them myself, that the witnesses have expressed extreme reluctance. One said, with fear in his voice, he's different now. He's not the same. He moves like a man with millions of dollars behind his name. And in fact, the circumstances presented to you by Mr. Steele in both this hearing and in previous hearings reflect a similar sentiment. He moves like a man with $1 million behind his name. His hands won't get dirty, but people will enact his wishes. Since the time that we have been in this trial, we have seen it was captured on surveillance footage from inside this courtroom, one defendant who was on trial with this defendant bring to Mr. Williams Percocet in open court. Since the time that this trial has begun, we have had no.
Here's the deal, y'all. An action of another person is being placed on him. An action of another person is being placed on him. Okay.
Less than 20 incidents, in no less than 20 incidents involving various crimes from drugs.
Other people's actions, and she's putting it on him. This is the thing that I don't get. Other people's action, but when Steele was saying certain things about other people, judge says that's their own, on their own merit, right? But other people's action is being placed on him. I'm lost.
And attacks being committed while the people who have been charged in this indictment are in fact confined. We have recordings of persons who are charged with Mr. Williams reaching out to other parties on the indictment, requesting permission from Mr. Williams to do harm to an opposition member who is in jail with the calling party. We have calls that are recorded of persons reaching out to Mr. Williams and conveying Mr. Williams's phone number and telling the called party, save this number under my name, just in case, the police get the phone. Everyone inside and who is associated with YSL knows who they need to keep the hands clean for, because Mr. Williams is the money that attracts the action and the willingness to act. When the shooting occurred that is referenced in the indictment of the bus for which Jimmy Winfrey was later convicted.
Jimmy Winfrey was convicted? I thought he just took a plea. No, he didn't even accept it, Wayne. He didn't even accept the drug. In fact, he gave it to the people and the man put it in his hand. He didn't know what it was. He thought the guy was giving him a dap. I thought Winfrey took a plea. Didn't he take a plea? That's what I read. He took a plea. So I guess it's considered a conviction. Yeah, okay. Okay, he took a plea.
It occurred at the same time that Mr. Williams was on stage in the other artist's hometown getting a not so receptive reaction from the audience. Your Honor, in 2015, of course, the court is aware that the state alleges that Mr. Donovan Thomas was killed as a result of conflict with opposition members, and that the vehicle, we do and can state that witnesses state that the vehicle that was used was one rented by Mr. Williams. We have proffers from persons who have pled, who have said that Mr. Williams then gave everyone money to get out of town that same night. In 2015, understanding that this particular evidence won't be used at trial, much like hearsay is inadmissible. But in 2015, Mr. Williams is found with guns and drugs inside his home, one of them purchased through a straw purchase. You would think after being arrested for that in 2022, he wouldn't have a cache of drugs inside his kitchen, a whole drug store, in fact, inside his kitchen. But not only does he have that, he has guns that have been modified with switches to make them automatic and other firearms inside his home. The person who is listed on the indictment, Mr. Jamari Holmes, as a victim of murder and for which Rodelius Ryan and Ramon Blaylock were convicted, those persons, after the killing, placed on social media something akin to slime over hose. In 2022, after two persons who are friends with this defendant are gunned down and killed, the same day or a day after, a picture is posted with Mr. Chanel drinks by Kelvin Watts. And the picture has a zipper face over it and two black shells underneath. A day or two later, Chanel drinks is gunned down. The defendant is charged with being a leader of YSL. The legislature made a point of carving out a separate and additional statute for one who is the leader. Because though the leader may be the one that associates want to keep the hands clean for, they are the ones with the most influence. Jurors have come in and expressed or have shown themselves to be unwilling to be truthful out of fear. Witnesses are afraid and intimidated.
Not about the jurors, but
Wow. She put the jurors' reason for not wanting to be a juror as to him, his intimidation. But to my understanding, most of the jurors don't want to be on it. It's because of the length of time of the what's the name? The trial. Because they say it's financial. Most of it's I haven't heard anybody say that it's because I'm scared of the people in here. They said because of the finance, their childcare, they can't afford. They don't want to be there because it's too long.
witnesses, only ones I can listen to in terms of properly what you're telling me at this point in time that you've actually interviewed. So
Yes,
I'll make that clear.
thank you.
Did you hear that? She tried to bring in the jurors. He says no, he can't put the jurors in there because that's not even valid. That's not even valid at all. I'm gonna repeat that one for a minute. Hold on.
Defendant is charged with being a leader of YSL. The legislature made a point of carving out a separate and additional statute for one who is the leader. Because though the leader may be the one that associates want to keep the hands clean for, they are the ones with the most influence. Jurors have come in and expressed or have shown themselves to be unwilling to be truthful out of fear. Witnesses are afraid and intimidated.
Not with the jurors, but and the witnesses, only ones I can listen to in terms of properly what you're telling me at this point in time that you've actually interviewed. So
Yes,
I'll make that clear.
thank you.
All right.
Your Honor, even after, again, being arrested and having been found with drugs and guns in his home, the defendant in DeKalb County is stopped and found with drugs and guns. I believe that at a previous bond hearing, prior FTA was referenced by the prosecution. Mr. Steele's assertions regarding the nutritional content of the food that the defendant has chosen to consume while he has been confined does not rise to the level of warranting additional circumstances that merit the defendant's release during trial. We would ask that the court find that based on the actions of the defendant,
What
he
action?
presents a risk of committing additional felonies, and that He poses a risk of intimidating or threatening witnesses. Your Honor, incidents prior to the ones charged in this indictment involve the defendant's presence at other violent felonies, his participation in them, and witnesses' statements that Thug made me do it. I knew I should have followed my mind and ran with him. Other people who are named in the indictment were charged and later convicted, but the defendant is the one who managed to avoid being accountable or held accountable for those actions.
Ms. Love, can I ask you a couple of clarifications? When did the
Snitch hoes get murked.
snitch hoes get murked and then
Listen to the year, y'all. Listen to the year this happened. Listen
That
to the
was
year.
in 2010 at the time of Quintavious Greer's trial.
Okay.
2010, y'all.
And the incidents where calls were made,
Is that more recently?
yes, it
When was
is.
that?
Those were made in
2015.
2021.
Oh,
Any calls or any other things after the commencement of this particular trial? Anything after December of 2022? Or into 2023?
As we are still reviewing the calls that we have received, I've not come upon ones from 2023. I can only
There's
point
nothing
with
in
respect to
2023,
things
no.
that have been observed by officers and members of the state's staff, the drug transactions that have occurred.
Did you have interviews with more recently? Some of the things you told me, are those based upon witness interviews that you have indicated that have been held sometime by your office, sometime during 2022
Yes,
or and 2023?
yes.
Okay. All right. All right, madam, anything else?
there's watch. Steele's gonna say he never.
Not
There
at this
was.
time, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Steele, anything else, sir?
Your Honor, I reject the proffer. I would ask you to order the prosecution to hand to the court and to Mr. Williams' counsel, snitch hoes get murked, then their kids in 2010. That did not happen,
She's an officer of the court,
and
and
so am I.
okay, and
And you should.
I believe a lot.
Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear, do y'all hear this? Oh my God! Did y'all just hear that? Steele is ready to fight. Hold on, y'all. Let me bring it back a little bit.
Mr. Samuels attempted to, when he was involved with this case, to have me do that, and the law doesn't require me to do that.
Your Honor, if you rely on that, you should know what you're relying on. It does not exist. Calls made in 2021, it's a wiretap that they may be referring to. Mr. Williams is not on a wiretap. I've listened to every call.
Okay, well, I'm going to give that less weight than I would the conversations that Ms. Love has had with recent witnesses in 22 and 23.
Let me give you something out of discovery. Mr. Eppinger's mother said that Jeffrey Williams ruined her son's life, recruited him into this YSL criminal street gang, and led her son down the wrong path. Mr. Eppinger's mother is mentally ill. She's never met Jeffrey Williams, and her son never said that. That is the type of information you are being given today to rely upon. Ask the state for the proof. There's no problem. You'd ask me for the proof, and I'd say, here it is. Your Honor, this conversation that Ms. Love wants to have about the legislature made it different for leaders. She does not cite any provision of law because it doesn't exist. Bond,
It's not really relevant for my bond determination at this point in time in terms of, I mean, still, I have to look at the Iowa factors and that's my principal guiding foundation.
But aren't you concerned at some point, Your Honor, that you're being told misrepresentations? At some point, do you just think...
If that's the case, then there are other remedies for this court to undertake and other bodies that this court can refer those matters to. I have to take your proffers that you tell me as counsel when we all go through a very lengthy licensure to include a professional ethics MPRE examination given in tandem with our licensure as lawyers. So I think most people take that pretty seriously because to lie to the tribunal is pretty serious. So if I find that out later on, I'll make the appropriate decision.
And Mr. Williams will still be potentially rotting in jail. The point, the rubber has met the road, Your Honor. I'm telling the court, I'm imploring the court to, if you're relying on that proffer, please ask to see the evidence.
Yes, right.
Going back, every other term used here is in the indictment. Those are the allegations. The state wants to turn it upside down and say, well, just presume that this happened. Presume now a search that was illegal. Let's presume that as well. The failure to appear, what they didn't tell you was there was no notice given. It was a speeding ticket that got dismissed. That's the failure to appear. Your Honor, you are being given information that is not appropriate. I'm telling the court that Mr. Williams, I would not come before the court for the third time. Mr. Williams can have a bond with whatever conditions the court needs. It will just be the right thing to do under law, under IALA, which is AYALA. I'll answer any of your other questions, but the tour bus, Mr. Williams was, Mr. Love rather put Mr. Williams in that. Mr. Williams was out of state. He was not charged in Cobb County. And there's a memo from the Cobb County District Attorney. He's now a Superior Court judge, the Honorable then District Attorney Reynolds, saying there is not enough evidence to charge Mr. Williams in any crime involving the tour bus shooting that involved a gentleman who performs under the name Little Wayne. That's what you're being told, though, today, that somehow Mr. Williams was involved. And I'm telling you different.
All right, sir. Thank you. Under Iowa versus the state, or pursuant to Iowa versus the state decision by the Supreme Court of Georgia and its progeny going forward, decided February the 5th of 1993, cited at 262 Georgia 704. It's still our seminal case in Georgia in regards to the nature of bond. Of course, a trial court may release a person on bail if the court finds the person, one, poses no significant risk of flight from the jurisdiction of the court or failing to appear in court when required. Two, poses no significant threat or danger to any person, to the community, or property in the community. Three, poses no significant risk of committing any felony pending trial. And four, poses no significant risk of intimidating witnesses or otherwise obstruction the administration of justice. And that's OCGA 17-6-1 Echo. It requires the trial court to explain its reasons for the grant and denial of bond to assist in appellate review. That's Lane at 247 Georgia 389. That granting or denial of bail will not be set aside unless there's a manifest and flagrant abuse of discretion. And that's a very old case, Jernigan versus the state, 118 Georgia 307, pinpoint 308, 1903. Iowa requires, and we all know this, and this has been stated in earlier hearings, that the defendant has the burden of coming forward initially with evidence to show that he or she poses, no significant risk of fleeing, threatening the community, committing another crime, or intimidating witness. This burden of production means that the person charged with murder must present evidence of the bond hearing on the factors that indicate roots in the community, which Mr. Williams has done on prior occasions. These factors include the defendant's length and character of the residence in the community, employment status and history, past history of responding to legal process, and prior criminal record. Court cites Lane 247 Georgia at 388. Once the defendant meets the burden of production, the estate may present evidence to rebut it, and then the court goes on to say that this is proper to place the burden of production on the defendant. So at that point in time, once that occurs, to protect the presumption of innocence, Ayala goes on to say the state has the burden of persuasion in convincing the Superior Court that the defendant is not entitled to pretrial release. This requirement means the state has the burden of proving by preponderance of the evidence that the trial court should deny bail either to secure the defendant's appearance in court or to protect the community. Depending on the quality of the defendant's evidence, the state may not need to present any evidence to carry its burden of persuasion. So I have determined in this case that Mr. Williams has in fact met the preliminary standards to show that he has ties to the community and roots in the community. And I find that his employment status and history are sufficient. The thing that still troubles the court and has been presented to the state by the state in this particular continuing proffer is that one of the factors I'm supposed to consider is, or decide, is whether or not Mr. Williams poses significant risk of intimidation or threatening of witnesses in particular. The state's proffer of recent conversations and interviews with witnesses in this case, attributing conduct to Mr. Williams, asking for permission to harm others. The court finds that would make him and pose a significant risk to the community. For that reason, I'm going to deny bond, continue to deny bond this time. That's my ruling. Okay. All right, Mr. Weinstein?
Your Honor, as is customary in my role, could we take a brief comfort break at this time?
Yes, we can, sir. All right, we'll be in recess. Mr. Steele, just so you may release yourself at any point in time to Judge Ingram, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. We'll be in recess 10 minutes.
Okay, so well, I'm going to give you guys some 411 of what I witnessed in the court. All right, I'm going to give you guys some little bit info. Well, as I told you guys, the courtroom upstairs was full of family members, friends, and some community activists that was in the courtroom. For upstairs, they was there to support Jeffrey Williams. The support was really, really strong. What I noticed at the end, after the hearing, after he was denied bond, the amount of security that they put at that door was to the hilt. To the hilt. And you notice how the prosecutor had extra security with them as well. So I don't know what they expected, like something was going to happen. And I understand that they don't know what that. I mean, based on what is being charged, they want to make sure there's protected. But and of course, with Brian Nichols' situation, what Brian Nichols did it in the courtroom, that's why they're on high alert. That's why they're on high alert. And that's understandable. But I'm saying security was like, high degree. They have to put security measure in play. It's high profile case. They have security there, but I'm just saying because when they just did they already have security, but when they did the bond hearing after it was denied, there was extra security added on after, that was added on the doorways and stuff like that. They came standing outside, and so there is already security there. There've been security there from the beginning, but they added more once the denial came in. They put additional people in the front. The security stays in there. There's a lot of regular dress detectives. Oh, really? Really? I didn't know that. I didn't know he had a song like that. Just said, if I let the ninja go and he falls to what? I don't understand what you just put in here, Musafa. What is that? Canada is a real place? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't understand what you just put in there. I understand what Mustafa put up there. I don't know what the heck he put up there. Ever since I met Shorty, I feel like Hercules. What were the reaction of some of the? Oh, okay. Oh, that's a good question. Sierra asked, "What was the reaction of the other reporters and people who talked about it today?" Well, listen, there was an individual that bet me, right? The individual bet me that the judge would not give a bond, and the risk was higher. If he won, I would give him less money, and if I won, he would give me more than what the bet was. Right? It was $5 and $10. He would give me $10 if I won. He would give me. I would give him $5 if he won. So I end up losing, and I have to give him $5. But they didn't think the judge was going to give him a bond at all. They did not think at all that there was no possible way. They came in and they told me he's not getting a bond. And they were right. They said he's not getting a bond. I don't even know why they even have a hearing if they're wasn't gonna give the bond. He could have just wrote it in the paperwork. Yeah, he took it very well because I think everybody knew the judge wasn't going to give him a bond, but it's on record. I think a lot of it's because it's on record now. So they knew he wasn't going to get a bond. How do they feel about how he treats the state versus the defense? Oh, it's very noticeable. It's very noticeable. A lot of people talk about it. A lot of people. Even a person someone mentioned in the group that the judge is Miss Love's mentor. I don't know how true that is, but someone mentioned that he was her mentor. So I don't know if they had class together. He's a teacher of her class, or she's mentoring her. And they said that she had ran for a position in another county and she lost. So I don't know how true that is because I didn't do my research on that, but it's allegedly. So I don't know how true that is, but it was said that Miss Love is Judge's mentee. Y'all heard that word before, right? Mentee. But that's what they say. That's what they said. I don't know. I can't verify that, and I wasn't trying to verify, but that's what I heard, that he was mentoring her. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true because I'm not putting no stuff out that's not true. So it's allegedly said that he's mentoring her, but it's allegedly said that she had ran for a position and she lost, and maybe she's running for a judge. Maybe her ultimate goal is to run to be a judge. I don't know. But any more questions? I like the questions and answering. I felt like there feels like a personal connection and they cross paths, but I understand. Okay. That's a conflict of interest, Sierra. I think they're definitely Kohas. What's a Kohas? Mustafa, what do you say? Lord have Dom, what is Mustafa saying? Mustafa, what are you saying? You putting words in. I don't understand that. Hey, the Thriller one. Cohorts. Okay. I was trying to figure out what is he saying. I don't get it. Language, sis. What language is that? What language is that?
Hey y'all, I got stung by the wasp while taking out trash today. Oh, so it's really bad? Did it swell up? Where'd you get stung at? But Doug's girlfriend was there and his mom. I mean, a lot of people was there, but I went up there to check to see how they were doing, to see to see the temperature up there, what the atmosphere was like. Intrusive together. Okay, got it. Yes, his dad was in court. His dad is always in court. That's one person that's there every day. He's there every day. He's there every day. But his mom was there today, and his all his siblings was there, all of them, the brother, except Greer, he wasn't there, but all the other siblings was there. All his siblings, they were there. The mom, the aunt, other family members were there, and then people from it's like a small red dot now. I washed it with soap and water for a minute, and it stung and burned like 10 minutes. On your right leg? Okay. Hopefully it don't swell up. I'm not sure if you know the answer, but how does arrest Pee Wee today play on this case? Will he be added to this round? No, he won't be added to this round. Nope. He'll be with the other half. No, he will not be added to this round. So what's the next big date, infamous one for the trial? The next big date, well, we're still waiting with the jury selection. We're still waiting for jury selection. Do you guys still want to hear some more of those jurors? Because I wanted to play the one from yesterday. My heart breaks for Jeffrey, and he will overcome. Yes, he will. There's a purpose. It's one of the things. I don't know if it was his sister that said that. I think it was this. So one of them says, God is in control, and there's a purpose for everything, and God is just preparing them. It might be a denial right now. A delay is not a denial. It's a delay. It's a delay. How many have been chosen thus far? 4 has been chosen. 4. 4 jurors have been chosen. And I was told there's going to be like 90 they're going to keep to do the strikes. They're going to have a batch of 90 that they could choose from. What? Mercury. Have Mercury. Lord have Mercury. Mustafa, what in the world you saying? Is that Lord have mercy? Lord have Mercury. I agree. God has a way of sitting you down when you need it. Yeah. Yes, it's a God thing, How long will it take for them to get 90 extra? That is the magical question. How long is going to take for them to put those individuals into place? I took my earrings off. I just realized I took my earrings off. I was like, where's my earrings? That is a magical question. Who knows? Who knows? We don't know. All I know is this is a long, tedious process. Long, tedious process. No coincidence in life ever. No, it's not. No coincidence whatsoever. It's all pre-planned, predestined. And when the trial gets started, Miss Love, don't you have the proof that she stated today at that bond hearing is gonna be a problem for her and the judge, just my opinion. Okay. December, November, consider we coming in a holiday. He's never gonna be on time in the long process. Nope. Everything happens for a reason. Okay. Yeah, it does. Do you guys want to hear the what we said we was gonna play? If Miss Love continues to ask 3 more questions, they might not get the 90. Sierra, you're right. Now her 3 questions become 1,000 questions. Give us the tea. You want the tea? What kind of tea do you want? You want the tea? You remember some things I cannot say. You know what I mean? I cannot say some things because keep my opinion to myself on some things. Look at this. I put the glasses tight. We shall see. Did y'all hear? You promised us some tea. What tea did I promise y'all? Mustafa, what tea did I promise y'all? I don't have any tea. What tea did I promise? Yeah, I'm about to hit the bed because it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I gotta go to bed. Did we hear what? Go ahead, LOL. Miss Chalamar keeps sending me videos. She keeps sending me videos. You digging me? Dallas keeps sending me videos. Okay, let me hold on. I'm gonna end the other area. Hold on, I'm gonna end the other one. All right, y'all. Y'all ready? Y'all ready to watch this? Mustafa, you ready? You can't believe we're up this way. I can't believe it. I can't believe it either. Mustafa, you ready? Infamous, you must be tired. What in the world? What kind of typing are you doing, Mustafa? Look at this, y'all. What in the world? I'm not as sharp tonight. You're not as sharp either. Look how you spelling. Look how you writing. You're not as sharp either. Be trying to call me out and you messing up in your typing. Look at what you said. Look at what you said. You type Ebonics? Yeah, you sure do type in Ebonics. You sure do. But I have 2 masters. I have 2 masters too, and I can't read. So we understand each other, Mustafa. We understand each other. We're some educated dummies. You got them before all that. I don't use them. The degrees that I got, I don't use them for what? What I need to
I'm not even in the field anymore. I'm not in finance. Speak for myself. Nah, I'm speaking for you too, because you spell it like that. You an educated dum-dum like me. So speak for yourself. Look at the typing that you do it. I had my own business before I got degrees. Look how you spelling degrees. Wait a minute. Like I said. Look how you spelling degrees. Oh, you choose to type that way. So you choosing to type that way, right? Okay. No, you spelled it that way. You spelled it digress. That ain't me. You said that. I didn't say it. You said stop it. No, you stop it. You don't want to type it like that. Oh, we judging now. No, I ain't judging. I just misery like company, so I'm miserable. So I bring you along with me. I'm bringing you along with my miserable self. I'm bringing along with my miserable self. He does extra. Thank you, Sierra. Thank you. I can't read and you can't write, so we right there together. I can't read, you can't write. We just messed up individuals. All right, let's go ahead and look at what the world? Mustafa is showing out right now, y'all. I am not even going to try to read this. I'm not going to even try to read it. Brain's working faster than your finger. I agree. Okay. Sharon, you said yeah, right? You wanted to hear. You wanted to hear it. Who's out for messing with me, y'all? Oh, my sinus is bothering me. My sinus is bothering me, y'all. It's bothering me. Hold on. I think it's stuck again.
Hey, Tim? Yes, sir. Sorry. Gotcha. All right, folks. Before I get started with the next year, anything I need to be made aware of?
Not in conversation.
All right. The next person that we have is juror number 26, if I'm not mistaken. So, Mr. Randolph, can we summon juror 26?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Councilors, with juror number 26, I'm going to start out with question number 49. And that's the concern question. And handle that first, and then we'll see where things go. Juror number 26, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, sir, do me a favor. Before you chair up as close as you can to the microphone, speak directly into it so we can all hear you, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, all right. Juror number 26, I want to say that you came in on the 9th of January of this year. Is that correct?
Sounds right.
All
Been a while.
And sometime thereafter, you came in and filled out this very large questionnaire, about 37 pages. Is that correct?
Correct. I think over 100 maybe. Okay, wrong.
No, it's only 37.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
not 100 pages.
Felt like it, I guess.
It felt like 100, but it's only 37. And it's probably less double-sided, but in fact, I know it is. But so what I'm going to do is we're going to ask you questions related to the responses that you gave on this questionnaire and follow through those, okay?
Okay.
All right, first thing I want to talk with you about is question number 49, and that reads as follows. Do you have any concerns or limitations that would prevent you from serving in a case that may last several weeks? And you said yes. And if you check yes, please provide specifics. And you said, I work on commission, and if I can't work for several weeks, I won't be able to pay my mortgage. And then you also mentioned that you were getting married. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Got married in February.
So you did get married.
I did.
You did go to Thailand.
I did.
Obviously you're back, so everything must have went well. So can I follow up with you about your commission issue?
Please.
Okay. Juror number 26, we have a little bit of information about you that is self-provided. In addition with this questionnaire, we have some information about you, just biographical data. So if this is correct, do you work in sales product? Are you a sales product specialist for Zoom?
I am, however, my job title has changed.
Okay, what's your job title now?
Commercial account executive.
Commercial account executive. And how long have you been with Zoom?
A little over 2 years.
And are you hourly or salary?
Salaried.
And what did they pay you last year?
Somewhere around 150,000 total.
Okay, is that with base and bonus?
Yes, everything.
All right. Do you happen to know what Zoom's juror policy is?
I do not.
If I were to ask you to step outside for a few minutes, could you potentially call HR or your management team and find out whether or not they would pay you if you were here, or if Zoom does have, in fact, have a juror policy?
I can certainly reach out to my manager. I can't guarantee that she will be available. So it may take longer than 15 minutes to get a response back, but I can certainly make that message out to her.
Okay, because here's what I kind of want to find out on behalf of everyone here. If Zoom pays you during this particular period of time, it would be helpful for you to know that and for us to know that.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. But related to that, I'm gonna just ask you a couple other questions. And this is also related to this, and you might want to figure out, see if you can get an answer to this. The answer I'd like you to get is you get paid a base and then bonus, correct?
Base plus commission, yes.
Okay, so what's your base?
Around 70,000 before taxes.
And so your bonus is your bonus last year would have been $80,000. Is that correct?
Roughly, yes.
All right. So I guess I need you to find out whether or not Zoom would pay your bonus or just your base salary.
Okay.
Because some particular companies only pay base and not commission. Some pay what you made last year in terms of commission. Each company's kind of a little bit different, but do you think you could find that out for me?
Yes, I can certainly find that out.
If you can find that out for me, that'll make a huge difference of whether or not we need to examine you and how much further we need to examine you. Okay, so I'm going to release you to do that,
okay.
And then we'll call you back in. Okay, so once you have that information, let Mr. Randolph in the back with the very fetching pink tie and handkerchief know, and we'll go ahead and call you back in. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. As a matter of housekeeping, close the door, Curtis. As a matter of housekeeping, Mr. Steele, I'm in receipt of the next letter of series that you're penning, okay? Regarding your desire to take care of a matter in front of Judge Ingram tomorrow morning. Will your colleague be here?
I'm going to be here. In fact, I just was curious to CC you. I asked Judge Ingram if she will hold my report, and when there's a substantial break, if there is one, I would go to Judge Ingram. That's what they said. So I wasn't asking for any.
No, Judge Ingram's asked me what time. See, and I don't know, because it's gonna depend upon how our flow goes tomorrow morning.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay, all right. She's trying to ask me about that, and I just didn't know whether or not you were gonna either join us in progress or what was your pleasure. So if I might suggest if once we handle the ministerial, the questionnaires and the flash drives, the only thing we'd have to do at that point in time is to have your bond motion. So and Mr. Kendrick's bond motion and then finish our accounting. So why don't I release you after the bond motion? So that might be somewhere around, I'm going to guesstimate and say about 10 o'clock, 10:30. Let's say 10:30.
Whatever you tell me.
Okay. I'll tell Judge Ingram that you are going to be available around 10:30 tomorrow morning. Does that work for you?
Whatever you tell me, yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then when you're done, or if you're not done, do you mind Mr. Adams handling the accounting for group 6 and 7?
No.
All right. Is that sufficient to you, Mr. Adams?
Yes, sir.
Oh, if it isn't, you know, I'm certainly, I'll ask Mr. Williams. I mean, Mr. Williams, you okay with that, sir? Okay, fine. Okay, I'll tell Judge Ingram in just a minute that that's our pleasure. I'll deal with it. Thank you.
Yeah, we can continue this tomorrow because I'm getting sleepy. It's 2:00 and I'm so sleepy. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll finish this off tomorrow. I know exactly what spot I'm in. We'll continue tomorrow. Guys, have a wonderful night, okay? I'm going to sleep. I'm sleepy.